Welcome back to Kazam Gymnastics. I'm Coach Kazam, and we're going to be going through a basic handstand routine today. So a couple of things that you're going to need for this workout. I'm using a bench that's about knee height. You can go anywhere from knee to hip height, depending on you, whatever you have at home, bench, chair, coffee table, stool. I'm also going to be using the Kazam parallettes. We'll be doing some handstands on those. If you do not have parallettes, you can use some sturdy dumbbells. You can even use yoga blocks, or if you're comfortable putting hands on the ground, that's totally fine. I'm also going to be using an 8-pound dumbbell. We'll be doing some shoulder raises overhead. So let's get into it. This is going to be a super short, quick and dirty workout. We're going to just start with some shoulder circles, moving through the shoulders, and other arm circle. Again, just kind of checking in with the body, pec muscles, shoulders, how's the body feeling and moving today. Good. Double arm circles, nice and controlled, and just kind of waking up all of the upper back muscles. Again, opening up the chest, trying not to arch your back here, squeeze your bum. And we're going to bounce the arms nice and straight, forwards and back. Flexion and extension in the shoulders. And bending through the elbows. Nice little elbow bend there. Tricep stretch, lat stretch overhead. Good, and we're just gonna do a little rotation through the upper back. So I wanna brace my core, squeeze my bum, pull the elbows back, and just rotating side to side. Just getting a little movement into the upper back. Good, let's drop into a nice big lunge. So I'm going to posture pelvic tilt the hip, making sure that glute is rock solid, and then just rocking back and forth through those hip flexors. So we're getting a nice stretch here into the quad, into the hip, a little bit into the core maybe. Again, tuck the bum under and just kind of loosening up, getting some movement happening here in the hips. And we're going to do the same sort of movement into the front leg, hinging at the hips back. So pushing the hip back and just trying to make contact with the belly button towards the front thigh. So I'm not rounding through the lower back. I should be feeling this stretch into the hamstring. Pulsing back and forth. And then sit your bum back. You can rest your fingers on the ground or on your thigh if you cannot touch the ground with your hands. And then from here, little pulses. So 10 little pulses through the hamstring, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Coming back to lunge, big reach overhead, just getting a little stretch into those obliques. Making sure the glute is nice and squeezed, and then switching sides. So posture, pelvic tilt the hip, tuck the glute under, squeeze the bum, and then just kind of rocking back and forth, getting some movement into that hip. Back and forth, nice and easy. Stretching through the hips, quads, and the core. And hinging at the hips, so sit the bum back and just rocking from lunge into hip hinge. Back and forth. Again, just trying to get movement in the hips. So when we're talking about handstands, yes, we need to be able to move the lower limbs as well. They're going to allow us to have more freedom when we get into balance or any sort of advanced handstand drill, including today's pike position. Sit the bum back, stretching through the hamstring and pulsing up and down. We're just pulsing a little bit into that hamstring, whatever works for you. Awesome. Let's get the shoulders and the pec muscles opened up a little bit. So lie onto your belly. We're gonna go into this T stretch. You're gonna walk the hand back behind you, rest the ear, and just opening through the chest, the biceps, and maybe the shoulders, depending on where you're tight. And then reaching to the other side, pull that leg back behind you, opening through the biceps, chest, and shoulders. Awesome. Whenever you've had enough of that, let's kind of warm the wrist up a little bit. We're going to be on the hands a lot today, so palms nice and tight, making some big circles in the wrist. So pushing the palms tight, don't let them unclasp. And again, just kind of getting some movement into the forearms. Good, fingers forwards, and let's add some rotations through the elbows. So just noticing the eye of the elbow coming forwards and back, forwards and back. Inside, outside. The shoulders also moving here as well. Awesome. I want you to keep the shoulders nice and strong. Press yourself away from the ground. Notice those elbows don't bend. I want you to lean forwards and then press yourself back. Leaning forwards and then pressing yourself back. Back and forth. So don't let those elbows bend, just lean and then press, noticing the range of motion in the wrist. And again, trying to get some blood flow into the forearm, so pressing yourself away. Pressing yourself away. Good, let's make a nice big wide circle. Come to the side, same hand position. To the side, circles, front to back. Side, front, side, and back. Side, front, side, and back. The wrists are going to be the common problem or limiter in many of us learning to do handstands. So we really want to take the time to warm up these ranges. Fingers go out to the sides. Same thing, big circles. Circling. Take your time exploring the entire range of the wrist. And last position here, fingers go backwards, and I want you to do that same activation. Lean back into the stretch, press your fingertips into the ground, create some tension into all 10 fingers, pushing yourself front to back. Nice and easy. Leaning back into the stretch and then pushing yourself forwards. Leaning back into the stretch and pushing yourself forwards. Good, and then a little side to side lean here as well. Good, and let's do those 2 leans one more time just to really get the wrists warmed up. Before we do that, roll the hands over on the top of the hand and just kind of stretching out the backs of the forearms. You should feel a nice little stretch all down the wrist extensor into the elbow. Good stuff. So fingers forwards again, nice and strong through the shoulders. Leaning to the front, hang out, hold, and push yourself back for 5. Lean and push for 4. Create some tension in all of the fingers. 3, see if you can feel all 10 fingers. 2, and 1. Good, fingers go backwards, leaning back into the stretch. Push yourself forwards for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So just take a second here, move those wrists around, make some circles. So the next sequence we're going to get into, or strength sequence today, is going to be a pike handstand, but we want to warm up those ranges first in the triceps, in the lats, in the shoulder blades, maybe in the thoracic. We're going to be limited in that pike position depending on where your limitations are. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this little tricep and lat stretch. This is called the butcher block. I'm going to bring my pinkies together, thumbs out, sit the bum back. Notice I'm not arching in the lower back here. I want to tuck the bum under a little bit. So I'm creating a flat lower back and then trying to get the movement happening into the armpits, the lats, and the triceps. I'm bringing the knuckles to the shoulders. And I'm going to push the armpits down towards the ground. And again, it's also important that you have this position going on overhead. We're not letting that elbow wing out. We're going to just hold that for 30 seconds. So again, keep that bum tucked under and just breathe. And as you breathe out, let the armpits sink into the ground. Try and lengthen through the spine. Pull the bum away from you, away from the shoulders. And again, just deepening the stretch into the shoulders, into the lats, maybe in the pecs if you're tight there as well. And just listening to your body. This should not be painful, it should be a stretch. Awesome. Let's get into a little bit of movement through the spine and the upper back. Now that we've done that, we might have a little more range here overhead. Let's create some spinal movements. So just stay on your knees. Hands are going to go above the forehead. And I want you to push through the shoulders. So we're going to shrug and push away from the wall through the shoulders. You're going to tuck your bum under. Keep this hollow body. And then I want you to initiate the movement by sticking the bum out, dropping through the belly button, then the chest, then the shoulders. Look up to the sky. From here, elbows should be straight, not bending. I want you to press through the hands and then come back to hollow. We'll do that for 5 reps. That's 1. Stick the bum out, drop the belly, the chest, and the shoulders, pressing through the hands, back to hollow, tuck the bum under, squeeze the bum. That's 2. Bum goes out, drop the chest, press the hands into the wall, squeeze the bum, push through the shoulders. 3. Back out and under, squeeze the bum, push through the shoulders. 4. Last one. And 5. Great stuff. So let's get into our strength sequence. We should be feeling a little bit more warmed up now, a little bit more range of motion overhead. If we were to come right into this piked handstand today without warm up, you might actually feel limited in those muscles that we just stretched. So I'm going to be using my parallettes. And again, you can put hands on the floor. You can use parallettes at home. You can use dumbbells. We're going to go into an elevated position with the feet. If you find this any bit hard, if it's too hard to hold or you're bending through the elbows, I'd rather you drop the knees. You might need a padded surface for those knees. This is super rock hard here. So just put a pad under there or some kind of a cushion. Otherwise, we're going to go on to the feet. And what we're aiming to do here is get the shoulders leaning over the hands, elbows nice and straight, and I'm actually trying to stack my hips. So if you're tight in the hamstrings, your body's going to look more like this. I want to bend my knees if needed to get those hips over the shoulders. And if you're mobile in the hamstrings, you can lock it out and then walk those toes in nice and close. really pressing nice and strong. So that's the first exercise. The second one is going to be a sitting shoulder raise. The same cue here. If you are limited in the hamstring, bend the knees. And we're going to be pressing the weight into the wall without arching through the lower back and flaring the ribs. I want to press my bum and my back into the wall. So this is the second exercise. And then the third one will be core. So we're going to be lying onto the back. Hands can come out to the side, resting on the head, and you're going to be coming down for 3, 2, 1 with the hold at the bottom, and then back up. 3, 2, 1, and back up. And those exercises are going to really help us with our skill work today after this. All right, so walking feet up onto the bench, 30 seconds, and here we go. Lock out those elbows, shrugs to the shoulders, toes onto the bench, and up for 1. That's 10, pushing, try and stack those hips. Push, 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 stack those hips over the shoulders. Nice and strong. Push. 5 more seconds. And resting. Great work. We're gonna come back into this sitting position on the wall. Push your bum right into the wall. If you can lock out those knees, awesome. Your elbows are gonna not bend here. Do not bend those elbows. Be honest with your range. Elbows should be locked out. You're trying to bring them so your ears are hidden, pushing the weight into the wall. Try not to arch the back. Pull the ribs in. Breathe out. And dropping. And lift. Hold. That's 2. 3. Breathing in. And out. Push those ribs in. 4. 5. 6. 7. Holding for half a second at the top. 8. 9. And 10. Great stuff. Let's get on to our backs. Hands out to the sides or hands by the bum if needed. Legs up and down for 3, 2, 1, and hold. Pull those legs apart. Switching and down for 3, 2, 1. Pull those legs apart as wide as you can. That's 2 and 3, 2, 1. Hold. That's 3 and 3, 2, 1, and hold. And 4. Really pressing through the lower backs. And that's 5. 5 more. Pressing through the lower back. Hold. And 6. And down for 3, 2, 1. Hold. And that's 7. And 3, 2, 1. Hold. 8. 2 more. 3, 2, 1. Hold. And 9. Pull those legs apart wide, wide, wide. And hold. And 10. Good stuff. So just a quick demo. If I were to lift my leg as high as I can without bending the bottom leg, I'm trying to pull those legs apart using the muscles in the legs. So let's get back into that. We'll do 2 more rounds. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and up. 30 seconds, and time starts. Try and stack the hips as high as you can. Pull the belly button in, pull the ribs into the spine. Try and flatten that lower back as best you can with the hips coming over the shoulders. Push, push, push. 10 more seconds. And rest. Good stuff. So back into that sitting shoulder raise. So this is a nice little couplet because we're getting into that shoulder lift. Well, that's the same position that you're in the piked handstand on. You're creating the exact same body shape Ready, 10 reps. Breath in, breath out, pushing, using your core into the lower back. Push and lift. And that's 1. And 2, pull the chin into the chest. 3, try and lengthen that head nice and tall with your chin to the chest. 4, holding at the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Leg raises onto the backs. And here we go for 3, 2, 1. And that's 1. And up and down for 3, 2, 1. Hold and up, 2, and down for 3, 2, 1. And that's 3, and 3, 2, 1. Hold, and that's 4. Keep those legs locked out. 3, 2, 1. 5, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 6. See if you can squeeze your bum at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. 7. Pressing through the lower back. 3, 2, 1. 8, 3, 2, 1. 9, 3, 2, 1. And 10. Good stuff. And last round. Ready, let's get Kazammed. 30 seconds here. So really just focus on the quality of the movement. Your elbows should be straight, shoulders shrugged, and hips stocked as best as you can. Don't be afraid to go onto the knees. And 3, 2, 1, up. And lifting, and 1. That's 10. 20. And 30. Whew, good stuff. Grab that weight, bums against the wall. Can even do a little check here. Put your hand between your lower back and notice when the other hand comes up, does your back want to arch? You need to be honest with yourself in those ranges. And this is the same as what you're doing when you're doing your leg raise. Your lower back should not lift. And this is only gonna better our handstands. Lifting for 1, 2, 3, 4. Brace the core. Pull the lower abdominals in, pull the ribs in. That's 5. 6, pull the chin to the chest. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Leg raises. And then we'll be done with our strength work. Finish off with a little skill. On to the backs. Just check that position again for your last set. Pushing through the lower back, pull the ribs in, and then pulling the legs apart. And then hold. And that's 1. Pulling the legs apart. Try and pull the toe towards your forehead. And that's 2. Hold. And that's 3. Holding, pull, pull, pull. And 4, and 3, 2, 1. That's 5. And 6. And 7. 3 more. And 8. Really focus on the core. Pull those legs apart. And 9. And 10. Great job, everybody. You can just set those parallettes aside. And let's finish off with a little bit of skill work. So we're going to be practicing our kick to handstand. The biggest thing here you want to focus on is never letting those elbows bend. If you feel like you're not comfortable kicking super high, chances are those elbows and shoulders are moving. So what you want to do for this next exercise, you're going to place the hands onto the ground, spread the fingers out, and then bring the index finger forwards. So the index finger should be forwards, spread the fingers. Now, if I were to check my position, my index finger is about 2 inches from the wall. And if I come into a downward dog with my feet out and then come onto my toes, load my shoulders, this is ideally your start position. So I want to not let the shoulders sink. I want to press to the ceiling, elbows stay nice and straight, and then you can walk one foot in a little closer with your knee bent, and then the other leg is going to do this little kick. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a few kicks and learn to just get this little hover off the ground. So don't worry about getting your foot to the wall. Focus on getting into this end range right here. Lift the leg up and then hovering through the other foot. Just showing me control, and then we can work on coming a little bit higher. Really practice pressing through the shoulders and the elbows. So you're gonna go for about 3 to 5 reps. Take your time and use the bottom foot to push as you drive through the top heel. So whenever you're ready, we're going to place the hands back onto the ground and we're going to lift through the opposite leg. So we always want to do our drunk leg, even if it feels awkward. We're going to balance out the body. Start by lifting the leg, lift the heel, and then kicking little kicks, 1, 2, and jump. Just little jumps, little tiny jumps. In control, 1, 2, and jump. And 1, 2, and jump. And you're gonna notice that your heel starts to find itself coming closer and closer to the wall. Don't rush that though. Don't rush trying to throw the heel into the wall. It should be control. We're trying to land the heel softly, like a butterfly would land on a tree, landing softly onto the wall. What does that look like? I'm gonna come back to my good leg. I'm gonna take 3 little kicks, and 1, 2, and touch, and then coming back down. So how soft can you touch the heel? Same thing, 1, 2. Not quite enough on that one. I didn't quite get it, but that's what we want to find. We want to find that happy medium of how much is too much, not enough, so we can get in that control. So practicing that, a few more reps. Continue with the other leg as well. So same thing, take your time. Are we in, can we at least make it look like we're in as much control on the other leg? That's kind of the key in gymnastics. There's never going to be a complete balance with both legs, but can we make them look or at least show control with both of that? So after you've practiced a couple of reps there, we want to get comfortable also walking into the wall and getting closer and closer into the wall. Because here's the deal, if you're not comfortable doing just a basic inverted hold, then how are we comfortable throwing ourselves into something we've never been in before and never felt before? So let's start to feel that. I want you to bring your hands nice and close to the wall, and you can bend the knees, walk the toes up into this little tucked position, and then straight. And first of all, are we comfortable here? Am I shaking? Are my elbows bent or straight? Can I push tall through the shoulders? And then can I tuck my bum under? This is the most important position before we start, or before we go closer to the wall. So give that one a little try. And just kind of feel it out. holding that position for a second or two. When you're comfortable with that, you can start to go a little further. So I'm gonna come back and hold this position. I'm gonna tuck my bum under, and then I'm gonna take little baby steps, coming a little closer. And what you're trying to do is get as close as you can to the wall without banana backing through the lower back or sagging through the shoulders. Are we able to really push up tall? Do I have control here? Do I have control to come out of it? If you find yourself falling out, you can just cartwheel out. So the goal is to give that a try. Go as close as you can to the wall where you're not holding and shaking for dear life. I want you to press through the elbows, the shoulders, keep the core tight and the bum tight. So I'm just going to give my wrist a little stretch. Take a little breather, stretch through the shoulders, and then we're going to go through that one more time. Moving through the shoulders. And this time the same thing. We're going to practice getting the heel onto the wall and then coming down. That's another component. It's hard to get into something if we don't know how to get out of it. So we're going to bring the hands onto the ground. You can take your 3 kicks if you like to get up. And then you're going to bring the other foot to the wall and control back down. So that looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Find the heels, both feet, and then split the legs and control back down right away. Same thing. And 1, 2, 3. Bring one heel and then 2 together. Split the legs and control back down. And yes, you want to do your sober and your drunk leg on this one as well. So take some time, practice that. Don't forget to do 2 to 3 reps on each leg on this one. Try not to put a hole in that wall. You're going to notice as you start to play with this, start to practice this, if I told you to freeze, could you hold whatever position you are in? That really shows that you are in control and you're really starting to kind of master this ability to move. So you can continue practicing that at home. Get into handstand, take one leg down and try and pull it as low as you can towards the ground. If you can control coming out of your handstands, then you will be able to really control getting into them. I'm just going to stretch out my wrists one more time. If you're still doing your reps, it's all good. Don't stress if you can't follow the tempo here. Moving through the wrists, and we're going to do one more stomach facing handstand wall walk. Go as close as you can to the wall, and you can hold for whatever time works for you, just kind of knowing where you're at and then trying to push this threshold of a benchmark a little further. Can you work towards getting nose to wall, toes to wall, and maybe holding for a minute? That is the ultimate goal. So we're going to start back into that position, front support or downward dog, however you want to walk in. Get yourself into tuck position, then straight, push up tall, hold. You can hold here for 30 seconds to a minute. If you're comfortable going further, go ahead. And a little further. Find your position where you can maintain it and hold it and breathe at the same time. Pushing nice and tall through those elbows. Squeeze your bum, push through the shoulders. So that's about 20 seconds.
Continue breathing, continue pushing. There's going to be some shakiness. If you're not comfortable here or you need to come out, just cartwheel down. Cartwheel one leg down to the side.
So the best way that you can continue working on that, repeat this sequence, repeat this workout, grab a timer, put the timer beside you, start the timer so you kind of know where you're at in those holds, and that's how you're going to make progress. Consistency is key. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.